Good morning. Hello, everyone. All right, you know I do this double check, so if you're ever joining and it's a little bit after I've started, just maybe scroll through a minute if you're watching the replay, because I'm always just kind of making sure that I've got everything where I need it to be and everything's running in perfect order, if there is such a thing. And also, in my apartment complex, they decided today's the day they're going to mow everything. So it's been really loud, and I've just been sitting here thinking, don't they know what I do every Thursday at 10:30 in the morning? No, I don't think they really care. So just checking my computer here. Yes, okay, we're live, we're good to go. Welcome. Hey, Andrea, thanks for being here. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I've been running around my apartment getting everything ready to go. And sometimes when I just sit down and I just need to center myself for a minute, so I will do that. Hey, Misty, you're here too. See, it's so weird, it tells me, all right, I'm glad you are here. Drinking all your water, I assume. I have a private closed group called Be and Do, where we are just helping each other be healthier, kind of an accountability group. So if you want to join, just search for that and ask to be added, and I will add you. All right, welcome. Thanks for joining me, you guys, today. I'm so glad you're here, and I so love this time together, and I love what it does for me in gathering my thoughts about things that I want to talk about. And so today's topic is going to be a fun one. We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, I just wanted to welcome you all, and I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Amy Logan, and the artist and owner of Soul Candy Company, and also a life coach. So that's just a little bit about me. And a little while ago, I announced that I got accepted into the life coaching school. And so I am beyond excited, and I can't wait for that to get here. I have to be really patient because it doesn't start until the last week in May. And that is going to be in Dallas. And I thought what I would do is have one of the evenings I'm there for a week. And I thought it might be kind of fun just to have a little gathering at the hotel, maybe I'm assuming they have a bar area or something where we can just gather. And anyone who's in the Dallas area, just kind of be waiting for that. I'll put together a little something. I don't totally know my schedule yet while I'm there, so I'm waiting to get more information, but I think my evenings are free. And so I just thought it would be fun. And I want to give a shout out. I do these videos on Facebook. Obviously, my Facebook channel is Amy Logan Life and Art, but I want to say hello to all my YouTubers. I've got a good gathering of people over on YouTube, and what I do is I've been taking these videos and uploading them to YouTube. So I have a channel called, I've changed my channel to Amy Logan, but I'd originally started as Soul Searching Girl, and it was my whole journey and my awakening. You guys have heard me talk about it quite a bit, but I love you guys over there on YouTube, right here on YouTube. You'll be watching it right here. I've loved, well, it hasn't always been easy. You know, like I've said before, I have some haters over there and some trolls, but that's just what happens. But I've loved the conversations and the emails that I get from you guys, and I try to respond to all of them. Sometimes they slip through the cracks, and I'll go through and try to catch up. But you know, leaving or going through a crisis of faith of any kind is really, really hard. And so whatever point you are on your own personal crisis, if you've had a religious or faith crisis or a personal crisis, you know, we're all in this together, and we're just trying to figure it out one day at a time. Really, that's really what this is all about. And so for you guys here on YouTube, I feel like we have an instant bond because we get each other if we've been through the same thing. And so I just want to let you know that this channel's kind of evolving a little bit. And if you're going through your own faith crisis, you'll find that you have your ups and downs, and then eventually you kind of level out. But wherever you are on that journey, I support you in it. It's just like my kids. I have 2 kids. I'm totally going off on a tangent here, but that's okay. I get this question asked a lot of me from those people who are on my YouTube channel. How did you handle this with your kids? And I have 2 boys. One's 21 today. Happy birthday, Ryan. 21. Like, how does that even happen? He's 21, and then my younger son is 19, and he just turned 19 in March. And he is actually serving an LDS mission in Argentina. And so it's kind of funny because a lot of people who are critical of the people who leave the LDS faith. They go, you can leave it, but you can't leave it alone. And I think, well, you never really leave it alone completely, because you're still, usually for the most part, especially if you've been raising children, you know, as I have for the last 21 years, and you have family and friends, loved ones, and it's been a part of your life. And so how do you just walk away from that? It's intertwined, it's immersed, it's everything. And so just like I told my kids, you know, when I told them what I was going through about 12 years ago, and I said, you know, of course I didn't release all, like, I didn't tell them right away because I didn't know where I stood with it all. I didn't know how I was going to land on my feet, because I was free falling for a while, is what is very common. You get angry, you're mad, you're scared, you're frustrated. And when I finally, after a few years of kind of landing on my feet and figuring out what I believe, what I don't believe, or at least feeling like I could speak about it, I told them that I was leaving the faith, but I also told them that whatever they decide, I will support them. Whatever they choose to do, because no one could have told me at 19, 20, you know, that would have changed my mind about the situation. You don't know till you know, and it's different for everybody. So that's what I tell people who are going through this. And you know, there's a immediacy to rush out and tell everyone all the things you found, all the things you've been reading, all the things you've discovered, and this new found thought process you have. And I guess I just, like I've said before, you can't convince anyone of anything. You will arrive in perfect time for you. And I think that can apply to a lot of things. And I love what it's going to be, what we're going to talk about today, because that has a lot to do with it. But really quick, if you don't mind, hey Brenda, ways you can support me, if you want to, is clicking like, commenting, and sharing. If you want to do one of those things, if you want to do all three of those things, that really helps me, and I appreciate that. I hope to get my message far and wide, to find the people who have been on a similar journey, or finding them in places of like the rug just got pulled out from under them, because I've been there. I know what that feels like. So that's why I do what I do. So if you could do those things, whether you're on YouTube or right here on Facebook, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna have a little sip of my cup of joe. Oh, I just barely got to it. All right, let's see. I've made notes today, so I don't forget anything. So I talked about my kids. Yeah, all right, let's get to the topic of the day. What do you owe yourself? And have you ever, oh, see, there's my Ryan. He's just texting me right now. I'm seeing them. I don't know if that changes the volume or anything on my phone. He's the one that has the birthday. What do you owe yourself? What do you owe yourself in this life? Think about that. Let that just kind of digest a little bit, because that question kind of came through my mind. And to go back to my faith journey, well, I'll get to that at the end. What do you owe yourself? What do you not owe yourself? Or what? I think oftentimes we think we owe other people so many things, right? We owe people our time. We owe people our commitments. Maybe we have a boss that we need to work really hard for. We feel like we need to serve our children almost maybe in a martyr kind of way, you know, like, and especially if you are a mom, have been a mom, there's this mom guilt that, oh, can any of you relate to mom guilt? Like, it's just there all the time, at least for me. Can you hear it? Here they come. It's really loud, I'm sorry. Maybe I should have put my headphones in, my earbuds in. Hopefully they will just pass. Sorry about the noise, but I don't have to mow the lawn anymore. I'm really happy about that. Do you feel like you have to be happy for others? So before we get to what you owe yourself, we're going to talk about a lot of things of what we feel we have to do and be for other people. Do you feel like you have to be happy for everyone? Do you feel like you have to serve everyone else but yourself? Or that you find that you're serving people so much so that you get lost in the shuffle, and maybe you put yourself at the bottom of the list? Do you run your life until you're ragged? Are you living your life the way someone else thinks you should be living your life? And I think that's probably a pretty common thing. We've probably all done that at one point or another. Do you feel miserable? Are you miserable in your life? Do you feel stuck? Are you being unhealthy? All right, so let's reframe all those things. I'm sure you could come up with a few other things. Maybe you could tell me. Let's reframe that a little bit. I think what happens, a lot of times we sit in the stuckness, right? Or we sit in the fear of doing something for yourself, because what if that looks selfish? What if that looks like you're not thinking about anybody else? You know, we often get worried about what other people are thinking and about us, which, you know, we kind of find out no one's really thinking about us. I mean, I think we think people are thinking about us more than they really are. They don't really care. But we get stuck in that. Like, what if I start to do something that's going to make someone in my inner circle frustrated with me or mad or upset? And I think about when I started questioning my faith, you know, that was really scary, because that meant other people around me wouldn't quite know what to do, and it's true. So when I started asking a lot of questions, people close to me would say, well, do you think I live in a bubble because I'm not seeing it the way you see it? And so there was a little bit of like, hey, I'm just trying to figure this out for myself. You get to do what you want to do, but this is how I'm starting to see things. Does that make sense? But, all right. So reframing this so that you are looking at what you owe yourself, all right? And I think we live in a world where the world doesn't owe us anything. It doesn't. We're just here doing our thing. And you can either slip underneath and slide into that depressive state, which I've done. Okay, I've been there. Or you can kind of take life by the horns and go for it. Whatever that is for you. It's different for each one of us. But when you reframe it to, what do I owe myself? I don't owe the world anything. I don't owe, I mean, you need to care for your loved ones, obviously. But if you're not caring for yourself first, how good of a job are you doing caring for someone else? Whoever that may be in your life. All right, Misty. I was stuck for months and I got professional help due to your faith crisis and other things. Yeah, that faith crisis is a doozy. And if you haven't been through it, it may be coming, or maybe you're just fine in the faith that you're in and the beliefs that you have. But once you give yourself permission to question things, whether it's a corporation or a religion, they may be one of the same, you know, you start to look at things differently. And so that's part of what I want to talk about today. Are you able to look through life? Can you stretch those muscles that you have and try to look through life through a different lens than what you've always looked through? All right, here it comes again. So sorry, guys. I'll just talk louder. Can you try to look at things through different eyes? And when you're thinking about terms in what you owe yourself, yeah, I want you to think selfishly for a little bit, all right? Because at the end of the day, when you're doing things for yourself because you want to, you have a different mentality. You have a different energy about yourself. If you're doing everything because of how you feel people want you to be, you walk around with that martyr syndrome a little bit. And we don't want to do that because no one likes that. I understand where that comes from. I've done that before in different phases of my life. Anyway, that's a total tangent. I just had a thought. I'm not going to go down that road. But you want to be taking care of yourself. So what if you tried something new? It is really hard, Brenda. What if you tried something new and you failed at it and you're okay with that? It's okay to fail. I think we're so afraid of failing at things that it keeps us in that safe little space. But is that really safe if we're starting to feel miserable because we're stuck in this little world and you're not giving back to yourself? All right. What if you meet some new people and they come into your life and you think it's going to be great and you have a new friend? It could be anyone from a new lover, a new girlfriend, boyfriend, just someone that you meet, and it's just for a short time and then all of a sudden it's kind of over. That's a risk you take, right? When we put our heart out there, whether it's for a friend or a more intimate relationship, we put ourselves out there. And you might lose at it. It goes back, not that you failed at it, but you know, I think friendships come into our lives. They're seasons of friendships. And some people show up and they're not there for a long time. And they're just there. Maybe there was something you needed to learn from that person. You never know. What if you try something new and you hate it? Yay! That's good. I think sometimes we look at things like, I need to find what I'm most passionate about. And then just do that. And I think, yes, do that. But what if you just no longer become passionate about it and it's over? That's okay too, right? Okay. Oh. Brenda, that's the hardest thing for me to do the things for myself. Just happened to me. I've been really sad about that. Oh, okay, about the friendship. Yeah. I know. For some reason, we put ourselves last. And I'm working really hard. That be and do group, I think I mentioned it earlier, I'm trying to put myself first. I'm trying to take care of my physical health because I've been ignoring that for a long time. And I kind of got to the point where I'm like, well, if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? Because I've been putting off for a couple years now. So you have to put yourself first. You have to fill your own cup, whether it's tea or coffee or water or orange juice. You got to fill your own cup and take care of yourself. You've got to fill yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever that looks like for you. You've got to do that. So my next thing was, what if you lost the weight? What if you gained the weight? Some people need to be gaining weight. That's never been my problem. I need to be losing weight. What if you danced more? And you know, if you ever just dance by yourself and you turn up the music and you change that energy about yourself, and that gets you excited because you're raising your vibration. What if you leave a relationship that no longer serves you or makes you miserable? Sometimes we think we need to tough it out and just stay. But I think sometimes there comes a time, and I've had to do this with a few people in my life, where I've just had to shut the door for myself. And that is really hard, especially if you've been a person who's grown up feeling like you're the good girl and you want everyone to like you. But once you start making boundaries for yourself, I think you owe yourself that. You owe yourself setting up certain boundaries for yourself. Okay, so that's one of the big ones. But leaving a relationship can be really hard. It doesn't have to be just a husband, wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend. It can also be just friendships that you've had for years. I've done that. It's hard, but I put a boundary up. What if you took the chance and entered into a new relationship? You know, a lot of us go, but I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to feel all those feelings. But what you miss out on are all the good things that come with it too. Yeah, it might end. When I was approaching the end of my marriage, I've been married, I talked to a friend, and she said to me something that I'd never thought of before, and it really helped me reframe my thinking. And when you grow up in the LDS faith, the Mormon faith, you are so, and I think with marriage in general, we're taught that, it's to be for a whole lifetime, and it's for some people to death do you part. In the Mormon faith, you believe it goes on for eternity, and that you are sealed to this person. And so psychologically, when you end that marriage, because you go through the Mormon temple and you're married for time and all eternity, which is a really long time. Maybe you don't want to be with that person for all of eternity. Anyway, when I was talking to her, and it was just heavy on my heart and all of the things that go with that, she goes, maybe we weren't meant to be with someone for a whole life. Maybe you're meant to be with this person for 20 years, and then someone else for 20 years, and then someone else for 20 years. Or 5 years, or whatever. And that is when, go back to what I was saying about putting a new lens on and looking through life with a different lens. Okay, it's hard to do that if you've been conditioned to think one way, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, I'm gonna look over here now, even though I've only looked over here. All right, it's just a different way of looking at things, and sometimes we get so conditioned in our beliefs. It hurts to look the other way and look at things from a different perspective. All right, what if you asked for help? Do you owe it to yourself to ask for help? I think you do. I think if you're in a tough spot and you need help, but it's sometimes really hard to ask for it. But I think you owe yourself that. What if you just walked away from whatever that you don't like anymore, or that you find uncomfortable, a situation in life? It could be a job, it could be a marriage, it could be, going back to that, a friendship, it could be anything. What if you did that because you owe yourself that? What if you just jumped in? What if you just jumped into that new job, or you just changed careers, or you just jumped into a new something in life? Doesn't that have a feeling of freshness about it? I love that. What if you just, so I wrote down just be. You just be where you are now. You don't have to necessarily do anything. Do you owe yourself that? I think sometimes we feel like we have to be so busy all the time. And especially in this day of social media, and that we're constantly bombarded with scrolling and looking and watching this video. Sorry about that, phone just rang. You know, we're constantly bombarded with everything. What if you just shut it all down? Like the other night, this is a biggie, because I often, when I take a bath, have my phone in there with me. And if you remember the last day of 2017, I dropped my phone in the tub, which was a very symbolic way to end that year. It was a tough year. And I got in the tub and I left my phone in the other room, because I, like many others, are addicted to my phone. I admit that, free and clear. Working on it. Baby steps. Left my phone in the other room while I took a bath, and I actually brought a book that you hold in your hands, and I read, and I got lost in the book for a little while, and I'd forgotten what that feels like. So that's what I mean about just being, just doing something that, thanks. Just doing something for yourself. Do you owe yourself letting go? Letting it go. Letting something big go. Okay, I want you to think about that. What else can you guys come up with that you owe yourself? Maybe something I haven't thought of. I can't think of everything. You guys must have some ideas. Share them with me. What do you owe yourself? And what is it time to start doing or stop doing? They can be one of the same, right? I want you to think about that. What is it time to start doing or to stop doing? Because time is really, there it is. So sorry. Not that I can control that, but I can talk louder. Time is the one thing that is not a renewable source. We don't get more of it, and we are all given the same thing. So how are you spending your time for yourself? All right, this is all today is talking about being selfish. It's okay. You owe yourself a few things, okay? You owe yourself giving yourself permission to be happy. You owe yourself, so these are the types of things I'm looking for. You owe yourself the permission to question. It's okay to question. It's okay to question your beliefs. It's okay to question your relationships that you're in. It's okay to question things that like you feel that aren't serving you anymore. Or why do I do this particular thing that I do? Well, my mom did it. Well, why did she do it? You know, it's the old story of the ham fitting in the pan. This lady cut the end of the ham off, and someone finally said, why do you do that? Well, I don't know, my mom just always did it. Well, she only did it, or her grandmother only did it because it didn't fit in the particular pan that she had. There was no like reason to making the ham better. I don't know where I heard that story, and I probably didn't even say it all completely right. But I remember that story. Sometimes we don't question why we do things, and then we realize, oh, there was no really reason behind it. We just are doing it. You owe yourself the ability to become the best person that you can be. All right? Now think about that. That shouldn't put pressure on you to be perfect. I am so far from perfect. And that's okay. What's that phrase? Perfectly imperfect. But I think when you give yourself permission to become the best you, that means you are being true to yourself. You're thinking for yourself. You are putting energy into your life and not just other people. Okay? Because I think we get caught up in the other people thing. And it's important to do that for yourself. Okay? You owe yourself time, potential, hope, happiness, the ability to look through a different lens at life, at your life. just shift it a little bit and kind of see what you want in life, what you want to let go of, what you want to do that you've never done before. You owe yourself turning a new page. You owe yourself starting over if you need to. Okay? You owe yourself jumping in. You owe yourself taking care of you. Because when you take care of yourself, and I just said this a little bit ago, you are better able to take care of those around you. So, you owe yourself failing. How do we learn? If life is just perfect and everything's just given to us and we never have to struggle, we may dream of that life, but what would that really be like? If we're never learning and growing, we'd have a very small view of this world. All right? So the blessing of failure and struggle is a blessing. You have the blessing of trying again. You have the blessing to just, you owe yourself to keep going. Does this make sense, what we're talking about today? I think when we start to think of what we owe ourselves and not anyone else, once we look through life with a different lens, we become more of everything we want and not just what we want others to be. So also through this process, I think you gain confidence. It kind of comes with it, because as you learn more about yourself and what makes you happy, what makes you feel full, you can't find that out if you're living your life for someone else, if you're trying to be what someone else wants you to be. So I just want you to think about that for a bit. Okay, 2 last things I want to talk to you about today. When I was going through, music is life, right? Music takes us back to our childhood. Music makes us excited. Music can make us sad. Music makes us feel all the feels with whatever that is that we're going through. So when I was going through my crisis of faith, or my awakening, as I've reframed that too, I had a couple songs that I really liked. And one is from Ben Harper, and I'll post these here on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, you can just type this in and listen to the song. But it's from Ben Harper. It's called Fly One Time. And there's a certain, I love the whole song, but talking about how the world owes you nothing. Okay, I'm saying it wrong. He's screaming for more. I'm going to get to the part. In a world that owes you nothing, you give everything. And I think sometimes we bat our head against the wall trying to give and give and give to everyone else and to this world. When the world doesn't owe you anything, you're just here. The world's going to do what it's going to do. But you've got to be giving to yourself. And this is my favorite part. Now I'm caught in between what I can't leave behind and what I may never find. So fly one time, fly one time. And I love that because, especially if you look at it in the faith context of leaving something that you once held very dear to you. And you're in that space of, I'm either going to leave or stay, I'm going to leave or stay. And you can be in that limbo for a long time. I've been there. And that's not a bad thing, because you don't want to fly till you're ready, or a little bit before you're ready. Standing at the edge of your life, at the edge of your life. Don't hold on. There's no fighting back the years. It's so hard to unlearn fears. Oh, I love that. It's so hard to unlearn fears, especially when fear has been, I think religion in general uses fear tactics to keep people, it's control, fear, keep you going, all of that, to keep you in the fold. And I don't like that type of living. And being. I don't like to do that with my children. I like them to be able to experience. Now, have I used fear? Probably. Don't run that far. You're going to fall off the edge of the building or whatever, Yes, there's some very realistic times when you have to do that with little children. But as adults, when you're trying to unlearn fear in your life, oh, scary. And then the other song I wanted to talk to you about, which you probably all heard, and it's like my favorite song, and it's Stevie Nicks' Landslide. I climbed a mountain and then I turned around. Sometimes you are walking down a certain part of your life and you get to, maybe you're in the middle of a road, figuratively speaking, and you just have to turn around because it's not working. That's okay. Give yourself permission to do it. You owe yourself that. If something's not working for you, you owe yourself the permission to just turn around and go the other way. I love it. I love this kind of stuff. I love talking about things like this. It really fills me up and makes me happy. So as you go about your day today, whenever you're watching this video, I want you to think about, what do you owe yourself today that will make you a better person, that will make you happier? I think we're kind of all trying to find this happiness, you know, the pursuit of happiness, so to speak. I don't know if it's necessarily a destination you arrive at, and that once you have arrived at happiness, you are just happy. I don't think it works that way. And it was funny because someone on YouTube, and this just happened so it's fresh in my brain, was giving me some pushback on some things I said about the church. And I answered his question and just said, hey, but you know, I'm happy now, it's all good. And then he goes, sure you're happy, or something like that. He could be watching this after I posted. That's okay too. And I thought that was really funny that he was questioning my being happy. Like, can only members of the church be happy? That's a very narrow way to see the world, no matter what religion you're in. Because there's people in all walks of life, in all types of religions, and non-religious people who are happy. We find happiness in different ways. But I don't think that means I'm not happy 100% of the time. And I challenge anyone to show me any person who's happy 100% of the time. We are human beings, and we have sadnesses and stresses and frustrations in our lives that counterbalance the happiness. But what that does is it makes the happiness and those good times that much more sweet, right? That's why you keep going. And that's why you owe it to yourself to put up boundaries for yourself, from leave or jump in a new relationship, or, you know, try something new, or turn around and walk the other direction. Whatever you need to do, you owe that to yourself in your own pursuit of happiness. There's my thoughts, guys. That's what I have to say about that. I'm just gonna check over here and make sure that I haven't missed anything. But I love this. Thanks for being here. Give this video a like or a love, comment or share, whether you're watching this right now live with me or you're catching on the replay. We're all in this together, you guys, just trying to figure it out. And no one has all the answers. No one, not one. I don't have all the answers. And I think that actually that was the best thing that I could finally come to terms with, is that I don't know it all. I don't have the answers. And that's I like being in that place. I like the mystery of it all. I'm open to possibility. All right, you guys, have a great day. It's Thursday. You've almost made it to Friday. If you are in my Be and Do group, a few of you are. I have yet to start my steps, but I have my Fitbit on, and I have a few hundred steps and 500 steps for the day. I got to get moving. But thanks for being here. Please sign up for my newsletter if you're not already on it. You can find that at amyloganlife.com, where I send out little love notes, and sales, if I have sales with my soul candy, and if I start going to more events and all that kind of thing, maybe that's where I'll probably put out this announcement with the Dallas meetup that we'll have the last week in May sometime. So there you go. Go do something selfish today, okay? There's your challenge. Go do something selfish for yourself, for no one else. All right, come up with your own list of what you owe yourself, okay? There's your number 2 assignments. Come up with your own list. Love you guys. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk soon.